I've gathered 15 questions about the Goyard St. Tote in PM size, so I want to answer them in this video. I've got my trusty little laptop on my laps, so let's get rolling. The very first one is, why did you choose the Goyard St. Tote? The reason why I chose this bag was because I was looking for something lightweight. I wanted something neutral and I didn't want it to be heavy with logos. Obviously, I knew that leather versions weren't quite an option, especially the lined ones, because they tend to be heavy before you stack them up with stuff. And I was looking for a canvas option, which would be waterproof, obviously, for any season of the year. That's the reason why my choice fell upon the Goyard St. Tote. The next question would be, why burgundy and not the more common black or tan? So here is the bag in question. I want to show it again. It's a burgundy with the combination of white and I know it's like orangey brown. I'd say the reason why I went for this one is because I find burgundy to be a neutral color. It matches easily with pretty much everything in my wardrobe. Obviously, before deciding on the color, I thought carefully about what I have in my wardrobe, what would I wear this bag with, and I decided to go with burgundy because I already have black bags, I have tan bags, but I didn't have a burgundy bag in my closet, and I thought it's a nice way to brighten an outfit, to bring some sort of variety into my closet by choosing burgundy. Now the next question is, how does the PM size work for daily life? Is it too small? And I'd say that it's a perfect size for daily wear. I've never regretted going for the PM size. It fits all my necessities just right. Ever since purchasing, I've never wished or regretted that I didn't go for a bigger or a smaller size. So I'd say that I've carried it through a couple seasons now, and in spring it was easy to shove everything that I had on myself, like a cup, gloves, I don't know, whatever I had on extra. When I would take those layers off indoors, I would just put them in my bag. And in summer, the same thing applies. Water bottles, hats. Next question is it really that lightweight or is it just hype? No, guys, it is not a hype. It is really that lightweight, and I love that about it. Now, question number 5 is, how much can it actually hold without feeling heavy? Well, obviously, it depends on the weight of the item. A small item can be very heavy and a voluminous item can be lightweight. So it really depends on the initial weight of the item and its volume. And moving to the next question, it's question number 6. Can you show us the bag up close and walk us through the details, texture, stitching, pouch, handles and foldability? Sure, guys, let me put my laptop away and I'll show you the bag. First, let's talk about what was the first thing? A texture. Obviously, texture is something I'd say you need to get used to, because at first I didn't buy this bag myself. I mean, I paid for it, but my friend, she brought this bag for me from abroad. Obviously, it's an expensive bag, especially for a canvas one. And I'd say that at first I felt a little disappointed because it felt a little plasticky. The look, you see, it's shiny, it feels like a plastic bag, but then you get used to it and you accept the bag for what it is, for the many benefits it has. Now, it has leather handles and leather trim across. It's not lined. Inside it's canvas. And inside it has this little pouch, which is attached to the handle, and you can, I believe, I've never tried it, but I think that it's detachable from the pouch side. But the strap itself, you cannot detach the strap from the handle. This pouch, I mean, I carry some stuff. I have my vitamins in it, but it's not big enough to carry more stuff. I would want to see the pouch to be bigger, but nevertheless, it comes in handy if you need to put some small stuff. Sorry guys, I got interrupted because of my battery shutdown, guys. So where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the pouch. So I said that I wish the pouch was bigger, but anyways, it is what it is, and it's not something that I use frequently because I have larger pouches that I have inside. There are no pockets inside. The handles, actually, they are slightly shorter than, I don't know, the only thing I can compare it with is Louis Vuitton's Neverfull, but I can still hang it on my shoulder like this. You see, it's quite comfortable. I find it's more secure to be closer to the body this way. Now, if you don't mind, guys, I want to continue recording on my iPhone because the battery on my camera keeps running out despite being charged 100 times. Now, the question I wanted to answer to is, how does it compare to the other luxury totes you've owned? Now, I think for this video, I will compare it with the totes that are similar in style and in size. And I've got Louis Vuitton's Neverfull in MM, and the other tote bag that I have now is Longchamp. I mean, it's not in the same range price-wise with Louis Vuitton and Goyard. However, it's still a popular tote that many people opt for. Now, if I were to compare this bag to Louis Vuitton's Neverfull, I'd say that they are similar in style. However, Louis Vuitton's one has more structure. It is a soft tote, but this one is literally, it's very soft. However, now I prefer the look of my Goyard's tote a lot more. And ever since I got this bag, I've never reached out for the other two lightweight tote bags I have. And talking about Longchamp, it is actually a great bag. I used to wear it a lot. In fact, I had two. However, with them, I have the similar issue. They wear out quite quickly on the corners of the bag. And with wear, I actually got holes on the corners. Whereas with Louis Vuitton, there is not a single issue with the outside of the bag, despite being used for 15 years. And there is a small wear and tear sign, obviously, inside, but that's not for this video to talk about. So I've used this bag for nearly half a year now, since March, April, May, June, July, August. Yes, exactly 6 months now. And so far, so good. I've got no scratching, nothing. It looks as good as new. I've used, so you could get it, guys. I've used this bag every single day for 6 months. And it has no stretch marks, no scratching, nothing. And as a person, I'd say that I tend to care about my stuff because I want them to serve me for longer. And with this bag, I would never put it on a surface which is scratchy, like on the ground or on the floor. I'm very gentle in use, I would say. But when it comes to, I don't know, like squishing it, it obviously does its job well, and I'm really happy so far. We'll see how it shows itself in several years. Hopefully it will be as good as new, just like my Louis Vuitton tote. Yeah, maybe I'll film another video then. Number 8 is what makes this quite luxury instead of just another expensive bag. Now, to answer this question, I would say that I don't want to constrict the description of this bag to the term quite luxury. I would say that this bag, it has just a pattern, you see, no letters except this little small writings here and there. It's not as recognizable. This pattern is as not recognizable as, let's say, Louis Vuitton's monogram. But I've noticed that Goyard's pattern is getting more and more recognizable because of the social media. And despite the fact that Goyard doesn't do advertisement campaigns, it's getting more and more popular. And I see a lot more people carrying it, which is great. I just think that it's subtle and lightweight, and I hope that this bag will deliver on the promise of quality. Now, let's move on to the next question, which is, could you just get a cheaper tote that works just as well? Well, I would say yes, of course. It's obviously possible. There are a lot of brands that provide good quality, and if you search, I think that it's easy to find one. I've been following this amazing YouTuber, Chase Amy, for a long time now. And I remember years ago, she used to talk a lot about her Tory badge totes. I believe she had at least 2 on, and she loved them. So that's one option. However, there are even cheaper ones. Now, next question is, do you ever wish it had more pockets or a zipper? Well, an answer to this question is yes. Sometimes I wish it had a zipper. However, there is an option, another model by Goyard, I think it's called Artois. It has a zipper. It's a little more structured than this one. So I had an option to go for one or the other. But if I recall correctly, the price difference between the two was somewhere around £500. And I thought that a zipper doesn't worth that much. I cannot really complain because I chose this open tote on purpose, and I had a couple occasions when I dropped my bag. Well, it fell off the chair and all of its contents landed on the floor. And that was, I think, those were the two cases when I wished it had a zipper. But other than that, no, I made a conscious decision to go for a cheaper model without a zipper. So that's my answer. The next question is, does it feel durable enough to last years, or will it wear quickly? Well, for now, after 6 months of use, I can say that I'm happy with the quality. So far, I wouldn't dare to say anything more than that. For now, hopefully it will last for a long time. The next question is, how easy is it to take care of? Can you use it in the rain? I've heard that this bag is supposedly waterproof, and I've used it a couple times when it was raining, and it was fine. But it wasn't a pouring kind of rain, obviously. It was a light drizzle, and I had to take a short walk under it, and it was fine. Nothing happened to the bag. So I've got 3 more questions. The next one is, what surprised you most after actually owning it? Well, as I said, the most surprising bit was the texture of the fabric of the canvas when I received it. As I said, it's shiny in life. It looks a bit plasticky, but it's not the question of canvas. It's the coating of the canvas. So that was the most surprising bit. I would say it looked a lot cheaper than it actually was, but I got used to it and now it doesn't bother me. So I'd say that was the most surprising bit about the bag. Now, moving on, is it worth the price in 2025? Now, this question is a bit tricky because I believe that everything is more expensive nowadays than it has to be. But in the range of luxury brands, in the range of bags, from luxury brands, I would say that Goyard Tote is priced fairly reasonable. And the last question is, would I buy it again if I lost it tomorrow? And my answer is absolutely yes. I've been very satisfied using this bag for the last 6 months, and it's the only bag that I reach for except when I'm going out in the evening. But for my daily wear, this is the bag that I go for. And I've never even thought about changing this bag to something else in my closet. That's why I've got a lot of my bags on sale, like I'm trying to sell them. So yes, my answer is absolutely yes. I would repurchase this bag if I lost it. But hopefully it doesn't happen. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that it was helpful. And I also hope to see you next time. I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel throughout several years, and if you consider this type of videos very interesting or useful, please subscribe to my channel, put your thumbs up under this video. If you have any topics that you're interested in, please write them in the comment section down below.